Bellator 269. These are the full card predictions and the betting breakdown. I need at least 150 likes, so smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. Much love to everybody tuning into the show. Turn on those post notifications too. You don't want to miss a video. Tons of content dropping this week. This week's best MMA bets, weigh-in recap shows for both UFC and Bellator, and we got a Bellator fight companion on Saturday as well. You don't want to miss it. Let's talk about the first fight for Bellator here. It's Gadzhi Rabadanov versus Aleksandr Belikh. Fun matchup here in the featherweight division. I have Gadzhi winning this fight. Stylistically looking at it, Belikh is a pretty talented striker. A guy that's comfortable fighting out of both stances. Does fight in a bit of a tall stance, though. Excellent kicks. A little bit susceptible to the takedowns. You look at Gadzhi on the opposite side, really skilled striker with excellent timing. He also has knockout power in his hands, and he strings his punches and kicks together extraordinarily well while mixing up the wrestling. His level changes are very good. If he gets on top of you, his ground and pound is excellent. He is going to put the work on Aleksandr here. Gadzhi Rabadanov, I do believe submission in round 2. Now, jumping to the betting lines, he's a minus 500 favorite to plus 375. The odds are very widespread, especially with Bellator prelims. We have the strong favorite, Gadzhi Rabadanov, win by submission. Next fight on the card, Aiden versus Aleksandr Osetrov. Good matchup here in the featherweight division. I have Osetrov winning, but Aiden is no slouch. He's not a pushover. You look at Lee, he's a pretty rangy kickboxer that fights out of the southpaw stance. Lots of movement. His feints are very good. He can definitely have you thinking that he's going for a body shot, come up with a high head kick. Fast hands and decent wrestling game as well. And his kicks, I'd say, are very good. On the opposite side, Aleksandr, southpaw also, which is fun. Southpaw versus southpaw matchup. Really good kickboxing. A guy that can control the center of the cage well, very well. His kicks to all levels are fantastic. And he's really fast. I think he'll have a bit of a speed advantage in this matchup. Has that high guard stance and likes to put patient pressure on his opponents. And you know what? On the ground's good as well. Can really mix in the level changes. Here, he's going to be at a disadvantage of the height, 5'9" to 6 foot. Is it going to be challenging? For sure. Lee will fight well from the outside. I think Lee can at least survive 2 rounds here, making it fairly competitive until round 3. Aleksandr Osetrov knockout in that 3rd round. The odds in this matchup, minus 210 to plus 170. More reasonable odds here for Osetrov. I like him to win, and he's a decent favorite. I do think he does get it done. Let's keep on moving up the card. 3rd fight on this Bellator card, Grachik Bozinyan versus Alexey Shurkevich. So in this matchup, I actually have Grachik. He is the underdog in this spot. Stylistically, Grachik is a decent striker with good boxing. His striking in close range when he enters the pockets, sometimes a little bit over-aggressive, but they do work fairly effectively. He has nice flurries of punches. The chin can be a bit high in some counters, but in this matchup, I'm liking his chances. On the opposite side, Alexey is a pretty solid kickboxer with a decent jab and a solid straight right. Kind of basic from Alexey. Forward pressure style of fighting, high volume for sure, and speed. Grachik also has a decent wrestling game, could be a potential factor. Striking, I still feel Grachik has some favorable attributes. Now, I think he wins a decision. It's concerning being in Russia. Are they going to be screwing over these guys with controversial decisions that aren't from there? Even though, I mean, Grachik, Armenian, fighting out of Russia, I think that should help his case if there's any potential controversy. Odds, though, he's a plus 105 underdog to the minus 135 favorite. I like Grachik Bozinyan at that plus 105 tag. Underdog prediction in this matchup. Let's keep on moving up the card, and if you haven't, smash that like button. Good matchup. Bantamweight division. Brian Moore, Nikita Mikhailov. I like Mikhailov in this fight, but Brian Moore is not to be slept on by any means. This is a very difficult fight. I want to see how they look on the scales. There's definitely potential for an upset, right? Only a guy with 8 pro bouts versus somebody at 14-7. So what does he have? 14 plus 7. I don't even know the math off the top of my head. 21 fights. There's definitely a level difference as far as experience goes. Moore is tricky. He's an athletic striker, and he's pretty slick. He comes in close and mixes it up well with the boxing, has fought good names, AJ McKee, Daniel Weichel. On the opposite side, Nikita's a good rangy kickboxer, though, in this fight. 5'7" to 5'8", a little bit of a height advantage for Brian Moore. He's explosive as Nikita. Good hips as well, and I feel like for a guy as young as he is, he's good beyond his years. Wrestling game is good as well, and he's resilient, can come back from adversity. We've seen it before. I think he will win a hard-fought decision. There's possibility for a Brian Moore upset here, though, without a doubt. It's more competitive, I think, than the line show. Minus 300 to plus 240. I'd like it more, minus 150 for Nikita Mikhailov. I like Nikita to win. That minus 300 tag, though, is a little bit high, but I do think he does get it done by a hard-fought decision, potentially a close one as well. Moving up the card, we have some women's flyweight action. Irina Alekseeva versus Stephanie Page. Striker versus grappler matchup with Irina. She was actually known as the Russian Ronda. She's got a judo championship level background, and boxing wise, she's not bad. Actually has some solid hooks with knockout power. Little bit sloppy, still developing though. She's 3-1. On the opposite side, Stephanie Page, probably the more technical striker. She's a Muay Thai fighter. She is actually formerly the 100% Fight Champ. That's an organization she previously fought for. Comfortable out of both stances, as you see with a lot of high-level strikers. Good kicking game, but can she stop Irina's takedowns? I think that'll be a problem here. Decision win for Irina Alekseeva. Looking at the odds, minus 150, plus 120. Not the best fight to bet on. You're betting on women with not a ton of high-level experience, practically none. I'll pick Irina Alekseeva, but not really advising to go to the window and place a bet on that one. Next fight of the night. If you know the, popular internet virality scene, Darina Mazdyuk versus Katarzyna Sadura. Darina is the girl that knocked out that 600-pound guy. She beat him up nicely, and that was actually a pretty great moment for her. Got her signed to Bellator. She's a skilled kickboxer. I think in this spot, it's not easy, though. I think that Kat actually gets to win in this fight because Kat is a decent striker in her own right, with tight style, good amount of experience, 4-4 record, decent submission skill set. Fights a little bit tall, potential openings for overhands, but Darina not, extremely sound just yet. Super low competition level, though she has that KO power. Look at her recent opponent, 0-0, 0-0, 0-0, 1-0, 0-0, 5-4, 10-4, 7-3, 6-2, 3-6. 3-6, a bad record to have a loss against a 3-6 girl, but still experienced nonetheless. I feel like decision for Katarzyna, upset. Looking at the odds, she is a plus 160 dog, but is it the dog you want to go throw all your money at? It's a dog prediction, but not necessarily a great dog bet. Darina on the opposite side, the minus 200 favorite. I like the underdog, but I don't love the bet of this dog. Risky bet on low-level women's MMA. Next fight of the night, Vladimir Tokov versus Aymard Guih. I'm actually really excited to see what happens between these two. I feel like Tokov should win the fight, but Aymard is a dangerous southpaw. The guy's got excellent striking, very light on his feet. He's explosive and closes distance extremely well, and his kicks are very good. Tokov on the opposite side, decent striking game with a very forward pressure heavy style, and he is a little bit awkward as well. Could potentially use some wrestling here against Aymard. The chin is a bit high of Tokov. There's going to be potential openings, but stylistically, I think he'll match up well and impose his will on Aymard. 5'10" to 5'9", not real differences as far as the physical attributes do go, but I feel like Tokov does get a decision. I don't think it's going to be a total domination, but should be a clear win. But at minus 500 to plus 375, I don't like it. I'd rather bet the underdog for those odds because there's a chance Guih ends up knocking him out. I'll pick Tokov, but not really feeling the bet. If you're betting more dog or pass, or when the props release, there'll be some potential there. Let's keep on moving up this Bellator Russia card. Kirill Sidelnikov versus Truesdale. Baby Fedor. That's what we're going to call Kirill. I've heard of him for years. I've watched him fight for a long time. I've seen him fight in Ryzen. I'll be honest, I have him winning the fight here, but I have never been super impressed with him. And on the opposite side, I'm not super impressed by Rob. He took a long break from like 2014 all the way up until 2 years ago, which that's a potential problem here. Looking at Kirill Sidelnikov, activity, 2 years off. That's a factor for sure. But baby Fedor, I mean, you know, he has a good group around him. He's a heavy guy, big man, sambo background, solid takedown defense, but he fights at a pretty slow pace. Very relaxed with knockout power in his hands, and I would say a competent boxing game. Looking at Rob on the opposite side, tight striking style with lots of movement, decent level changes, but if he gets put on his back by Kirill, it's trouble. He will get put on his back. TKO, round number 2, Kirill Sidelnikov, a.k.a. Baby Fedor, minus 300, plus 240. I don't really love the value of the bet for Kirill at minus 300, but I think he's a near lock play. I wish it was a little bit closer so I could money line him. Kirill Sidelnikov, Baby Fedor for the win. TKO, round number 2, featured bout on the prelim card. Let's jump to the main card, and if you haven't yet, smash the hell out of that like button. Anatoly Tokov, Sharaf Davletarmarov. Extremely hard name to say, but the Wolfhound is an easier one to say. Tokov on the other side is a guy that I'm pretty high on. Looking at Tokov, I have him winning here. I'll tell you guys straight out the gate. He's a powerful striker with good boxing skills, legit knockout power. Now, he's coming off a decently long layoff. On the opposite side, Sharaf has a recent bout, which was about 4 months ago, win over Kleber Silva. He's been fighting a lot more consistently than Tokov. Sharaf is a decent striker with a lot of forward pressure, and he's comfortable out of both stances for sure. Well-timed level changes as well. I feel like he mixes up his strikes and takedowns at a very high level, and when he's on top, heavy ground and pound. But he's not going to find that success here against Tokov. Tokov's very good on the ground as well. His top game is fantastic. Heavy ground and pound, solid pressure, and physically, he is a very strong man. Tokov win by decision against Sharaf here. Looking at the odds, Tokov minus 450, Sharaf plus 360, or excuse me, plus 350. I like Tokov here. He's a strong favorite though, but I do have him winning this bout. Let's keep on moving up the card. Usman Nurmagomedov versus Patrick Pitiella. This is a fight to get excited about. Usman Nurmagomedov is that prospect. The Bellator potential superstar in the making. He's winning the fight. You guys know that's going to be the pick. The odds are like minus 2,000 for him. Usman's a dynamic striker who is super technical with his kickboxing. He's patient, well beyond that 23 year of age. I mean, the guy looks like he's been fighting his whole life. He probably really has. Cousin of Khabib Nurmagomedov. Excellent kicks. Fast combination puncher. Mixes up the kicks and the takedowns extraordinarily well. Controls the center of the octagon. Controls range. He's a finisher, and when he gets on top of you, he will pound you out. The man is very good from that top position. On the opposite side with Patrick, solid kickboxing game with good hands and straight punches. If he was fighting a lower-level guy in the prelims, you know, I think he could potentially get a W. He's a tall guy, 6'1". There's a catch weight, 160-pound bout, but both are lightweights. You have to go Usman. There's going to be so many openings for strikes. I think he gets a first-round knockout of Patrick in this fight. Usman Nurmagomedov for the win. Definite lock, but the tag is disgusting. Minus 2,500 to plus 1,200. I like that minus 2,500 favorite 100% here. I think Usman Nurmagomedov is a future champion in Bellator in a fight that I'm going to sneak peek talk about. Imagine AJ McKee, Usman Nurmagomedov in the future. I'm definitely saying that's a fight that has to happen. That's Bellator superstardom on both sides. Usman is special. He's got GOAT names, Usman and Nurmagomedov in one. This guy's a special fighter. Usman Nurmagomedov. It's 100% here. I would be absolutely shocked if he lost this bout. Knockout, first round. Co-main event, heavyweights. Vitaly Minakov, Said Sowma. I have Minakov in this spot. He's the former champion in Bellator. Didn't defend his title for long. He had that one defense. Then he left. Fought over at Fight Nights Global for some time. Controversial loss to Czech Congo coming back. Said Sowma, big win over Honey Marks in the last one. Recent loss to Tyrell Fortune. Sowma's actually a pretty good heavyweight, though. We have to talk about him a little bit, hype him up, give some positive attributes. He's a fast southpaw. For a heavyweight, very fast. Undersized, though. Only 6 feet tall. Granted, his weight isn't bad at 245. Does have a bit of knockout power in the hands and is very good with his grappling. Calf kicks, dangerous attribute to have. Against other guys in the heavyweight division in Bellator, I think Saeed will be super successful. He's got a bright future, 28 years of age. But he's fighting Vitaly Minakov, who's a hellish matchup. Minakov, as I mentioned, former champion, aggressive with his striking, and he starts fast. Right out the gate, he's going to put that pressure on you and make you work early. If he gets a hold of you, he will pick you up, throw you, suplex you. He beat the shit out of Tim Johnson, knocking him out in the first round. That's a super impressive win, the way he beat him down. And I know Congo got kind of a flukish knockout and then lost the rematch to Johnson. Minakov wouldn't lose that rematch. I'd be shocked if he did. Minakov, excellent wrestling. Background in wrestling, sambo, judo. This guy is a grappling specialist who's developed good striking as well. Physically super strong, explosive. He's going to beat up Sowma here. I think he puts a high pace on him, really makes him work. Now, does he get the finish? Vitaly Minakov is a guy that can go rounds, but look at majority of his wins are by knockout. I'm feeling second round KO Vitaly Minakov over Sowma. He'll beat the hot prospect. And I think Minakov deserves a title shot very soon. Minus 300, plus 240. I'm very confident in Minakov. I would be shocked if he lost this bout. Sowma has the power. Of course, if he touches the chin, he could put you down. But Minakov has never had durability issues. He's going to win here. He's going to put it on Saeed. Knockout. Round number 2. Keep an eye on Minakov. I do believe he will potentially grab that Bellator crown once again. He's like the forgotten champion, but he will be back for his throne. Main event. And if you haven't, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, turn those post notifications on. Let's talk about it. Fedor Emelianenko, Tim Johnson. Who do I have in this bout? Tim Johnson. Fedor has shown bad durability as of late. Granted, big win over Rampage, but what is the win over Rampage worth when he beat him? Not much. That's an out-of-shape, fat Rampage. This isn't prime Rampage Jackson that he's sleeping. Tim Johnson, dangerous southpaw, with very good wrestling, forward pressure that'll put on his opponents, knockout power, can hold you against the cage for 5 rounds as well. Definitely has a good skill set everywhere, really, mixed martial arts goes. Was a guy that was a gatekeeper in the UFC, but he was tricky as hell for pretty much everybody he fought. His durability, for the most part, aside of a couple knockout losses, has always been very good. But Fedor, this is a legend. This is, the heavyweight GOAT. This is the former Pride champion. This is a guy who was undefeated for years and years, 30-plus pro bouts. Super light on his feet. Excellent movement. Excellent movement. KO power in his hands, and he also is a devastating combination puncher. Now, as I mentioned, the durability issues. Fedor's also great on the ground. He has a game that's competent everywhere, but it's 2021. Fedor's time is far past. He's 45 years of age. Fedor, I feel like, has been out of his prime, going back to the Brett Rogers win. And now he's fighting Tim Johnson all these years later. I think Tim Johnson is going to put a high pace on him, start early. He'll touch the chin in the first round, sleeping Fedor Emelianenko. Now, does Fedor have a chance to knock him out? Absolutely. But more times out of 10, I think Tim Johnson beats him. I have Tim Johnson winning the bout. Now, the bookies, they actually slightly agree. It's about pick'ems, though. Best value, minus 110 for Johnson. Fedor up at plus 105 at best value. That's over at Bet Online. FanDuel has it pick'ems, though. I like that bet on Tim Johnson. I think he can come through and win. Fighting Fedor in Russia has a ton of pressure. I feel like Tim Johnson's going to show up for it. If he's that guy. This is USA versus Russia. Sweet main event for Bellator. I'm really excited to see what happens. I think Tim Johnson gets it done. Knockout. Round 1. He beats Fedor Emelianenko in Russia. Now, is Tim Johnson working back to the title shot? Probably not. He had a bad loss in the last one, got dominated by Valentin Moldavsky. This isn't really a title picture fight. This is a legacy fight for Tim Johnson. He's going to get to say he beat Fedor Emelianenko, assuming that he does. Fedor, of course, has a chance. He knocked out Frank Mir as of recent, knocked out Chael Sonnen, but what's really that worth? Bader quickly KOs him, and he gets quickly KO'd by Mitrione 4 years ago. The last win, it was what, a year and 9 months ago against Rampage? You're looking at Tim Johnson beating decent guys consistently, 2 KOs back-to-back. That was against Mitrione and Fortune, and then a split decision, and an avenged split decision against Czech Congo. Tim Johnson, knockout here. He beats Fedor Emelianenko. Super excited to see what happens. Overall, a card to be stoked for with Bellator. Starts a little bit earlier. I believe it starts 12 p.m. Eastern time, so that main card will be around 3 o'clock. Overall, great action. Some real Russian prospects, contenders, and I believe future champions. You don't want to miss it. Smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, and turn those post notifications on as well. Keep it locked in. I got this week's best MMA bets dropping. Make sure to check that out. Weigh-in recap shows. tons of coverage. And we'll be covering the PFL championship that's coming up, I think next week. So lots of stuff to talk about. Keep it locked in here at MMA Experts. Much love to all my supporters. If you haven't, subscribe. Make sure to do so. I'll say it again. Turn those post notifications on. Much love to all my people tuning into the show. Thank you all so much, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace, guys.